Yeah, hello students. Welcome to this study channel. In this video, we'll be discussing the last year question paper for this subject, second semester language paper, which is language through literature. So as you can see, there were 4 questions last time, and we have to do 2 of them. So let's begin discussing the question paper. I have the solved answer sheets with me. And before we begin, I would like to request all of you, particularly those who have problems in understanding English and they want me to speak in Hindi, आप इसको पहले इंग्लिश में समझें, ठीक है? जहाँ पे समझ नहीं आता वहाँ पे पॉज करें वीडियो को, रिवाइंड करें, दोबारा सुने. बहुत सिंपल इंग्लिश में बोलूँगा मैं और टॉपिक भी बहुत इजी है. तो इंग्लिश का पेपर आप इंग्लिश में ही समझेंगे तो आपकी अंडरस्टैंडिंग बहुत बढ़ेगी उससे, है ना, अच्छी होगी. और आपको लिखना भी इंग्लिश में ही होगा एग्जाम में. फिर भी अगर आप चाहते हैं हिंदी में वीडियो तो कमेंट बॉक्स में लिखें, हम कोशिश करेंगे, लेकिन आप इसको इंग्लिश में सुनिए. Alright, so this is the format of the first sheet of the answer sheet. You'll be writing your SOL roll number, exam roll number, the unique paper code, and the full name of the subject. And then, yeah, you can write the number of pages if you want to, but you can just skip this. So the first question says, write a letter to your brother explaining the importance of washing hands and social distancing to prevent the spread of COVID-19. So a very simple topic. You just need to write an informal letter to your brother, and you need to explain to him what's the importance of washing hands and maintaining social distancing, because these are the things we need to do to prevent the spread of coronavirus, right? So let's begin with the answer. As you can see, we will begin with the sender's address, that is your address, okay? And then give a gap, leave a line, and then write the date. So you can write 30th June, 2020. I mean, now it's 2021, or you can skip the TH. You can write 30 June, 2021. Okay? And then greeting, obviously, so you're writing a letter to your brother, so you'll write, Dear brother. Or if you're given the name of your friend or your brother in the question, then you'll be writing that name here, okay? So, greetings, yeah, you'll ask, you'll say, how are you? I hope you're staying safe and coping well in these difficult times. I mean, the first line can be framed according to you. I mean, you can do it yourself, but just make sure that you are asking your friend or brother, how is he doing? Yeah. So, and then you can begin with the theme, the topic, which is you need to guide him, you need to advise him what to do in order to, prevent the spread of coronavirus. Especially, you need to explain the importance of washing hands and social distancing. So, I am pretty sure that this topic is very easy and all of you can write a letter yourselves, but I'll quickly just read this one right here. So it says, the emerging COVID-19 positive cases in the vicinity of your neighborhood is overwhelming to know. So I'm assuming that my brother is living in some other locality. Maybe he's living in some other state. He's gone there for pursuing his high studies. And I got to know that from news that the outbreak of coronavirus there is very huge. Yeah, it's very dangerous. So it's just an assumption. So I mean, you're free to write your own points. So with the one right across the lane, so what I'm trying to say here is that I got to know that where he is living, there is a COVID patient living right across the lane, as in where he is living, the house opposite to his, there's a COVID patient. So then I say, I can imagine how the mundane household tasks can turn into a source of uncertainty and anxiety. So even though when we are stuck in our house, in this lockdown period, we still carry out the daily activities like we wake up, we probably do some yoga or meditation within the house, and then we have breakfast, we take a bath and everything. So these are household tasks, yeah, even cleaning and dusting and washing utensils. So there is a sense of uncertainty and anxiety. I mean, you may not be able to focus entirely or mentally, and you might get this anxiety that, oh, I have a COVID patient right living next to my house. Okay. So I have made this thing up. You don't really need to mention this thing. You can simply jump on to the main points, but I'm just building a plot. Yeah. I'm trying to make it more interesting. And then I talk about the situation at my end. So here, one of my neighbors today was wondering if they can catch the coronavirus from the potted plants they had bought from the local gardener. Potted plants, gumle, yeah. So they bought some plants, potted plants, and they're wondering if coronavirus can be spread through plants. Now, why did I say that? I mean, why am I wondering? Because at that time there were news about COVID spreading through newspaper or edible items or fruits and vegetables. So, of course, many of them were rumors. So I'm just building the plot further here, okay? And then I'll say, as we are getting to know more about the characteristics of the virus through the research of scientists, it turns out that mom was right. So obviously, it was a novel virus at that time in June last year. So we didn't know much about the origin and how to protect ourselves, properly. Now that it's repeating itself during this lockdown, we know more about this than we did the last year. So my mom was right. What the best and simplest way to prevent the spread of COVID-19, which has killed 5 lakh people and affected more than 12 million people around the world. Now, this is an old data, obviously, at the time of writing this examination. Yeah. So now I've got to, explain the main thing, which is what the question has asked me. Wash your hands, cover your mouth and nose when you cough or sneeze, and avoid touching your face, and stay home if you are sick. So I'm describing the importance of washing hands and covering one's mouth and nose, when we cough or sneeze. So and then I say that, okay, some of the advice has become specific. Like, you hear about these from many sources. You must have heard about this in the maybe in the ads, and then read in the newspaper. Even when you would hear the ringtone when you would call somebody, the automated system would say, "Do this," cover your hand, cover your mouth, and then use a sanitizer. And yeah. And then I begin to say, pay attention. Yeah. So, and then I describe the importance of washing hands and social distancing to prevent the spread of COVID-19. This is exactly what the question has asked us to do. And then I get into a little more detail. I describe the importance of maintaining personal hygiene. Yeah. And then a lot of things we can do. I mean, a lot of things we don't know about this virus, but we do know that it spreads through respiratory droplets produced when an infected person coughs or sneezes. So, the little droplets that we emit into the air through our nose or mouth when we cough or sneeze. So, if I am infected with COVID, then those little droplets might carry the COVID, and then the other person who breathes that air, he might get infected as well, right? Similarly, if I'm carrying COVID in my hands, how? When I cough, and if the coronavirus, when I cover my mouth or nose with my hands, so those little droplets, they get on my hands, and then when I touch any object, I transmit the COVID onto that surface. Yeah. So pretty much simple topic. I'll quickly move ahead. I just wanted to give you a quick idea of how to write a letter. I mean, it's an informal letter. So, yeah. And then I advise my brother to watch the hand washing tutorials because initially people didn't really understand. Not everybody was aware that, how do you need to wash your hands properly? What's the correct technique of washing your hands? Yeah. So wash your hands frequently and thoroughly, as in properly, with soap and water, and scrub for at least 20 seconds. Yeah, which is exactly the time taken to sing happy birthday to you. Yeah. So, and then use an alcohol-based hand sanitizer, obviously. And then I get on to some more details, which is don't touch your face. Yeah, when you go outside to buy grocery, don't touch your face. And when you come back, obviously you need to wear a mask properly, covering your mouth and nose. And then the moment you come home, wash your hands. Yeah. So, and then I say that I hope that my brother understands that avoiding touching the face is really important to prevent germs from entering the body through eyes, nose, and mouth. Because contaminated hands, as in when we carry the germs on our hands, and then we tend to, rub our eyes or touch our nose or mouth, then we are actually getting more prone to this infection with COVID. And then I repeat, I say wash, wash, and wash your hands. So I'm sort of emphasizing because that was a time, and it is still the time when many people get, stressed. They're locked up in their houses, and then they hardly have work. Not everybody has work. So yeah, so some people, they really feel distressed. So, but then health is above everything. So I'm emphasizing that my brother should wash hands. And then the second point is social distancing, which is like avoiding places where there are a lot of people, and then staying at least 6 feet away from others. Yeah. And then I advise him to make a conscious effort to avoid going in crowded areas. For example, if I can't get milk, grocery, fruit, and vegetables delivered at my home, and I really need to go out to buy this stuff. So if I see that outside a shop, there are a lot of people waiting already, and they're not following social distancing, or maybe it's very crowded, then I would rather go to some other shop. I should not just wait there in line and put my health in danger. Yeah. So the thing is, don't step out of your house unless it is extremely necessary, and then wear a mask and gloves. So guys, I'll quickly move ahead to the second question because this is a very basic topic. All of you must be aware of this already, okay? And then limiting our contact with people and everything. So I'll share this PDF. You'll find the link to download this PDF in the description of the video or in the comment section, so you can just download this and take a look. But make sure that the word limit of each question doesn't exceed 500 words, because this is a language paper. So I'm sure it was mentioned in the question paper. See, it says answer any 2 questions in about 500 words each. And make sure you end your letter properly. As in, what I said was protect yourself and loved ones, and follow social distancing, and wash hands frequently, and thus save lives. Because by taking these precautions, by following these things, not only am I saving my life, I'm also saving others' lives. Yeah, and then you write yours lovingly, and then your name, and then you move on to the next question. Now let's focus on this one because it's based on, I guess there's a unit in your syllabus, crossing the river. That is the name of the drama. Yeah, and it's written by Ambai. So, Crossing the River was written by C.S. Lakshmi. That is the actual name of the author. And she used to write under a pseudonym, as in a false name, which is what she's chosen here, Ambai. So the question says, comment on Ambai's retelling of Sita's story, Crossing the River. Now, in this video, I'll quickly try giving you a brief summary about this drama, so that you can understand the answer. Okay, but I'll try making another video specifically on this chapter. We'll begin with the drama. We'll discuss this in detail. But those of you who really want to understand this very quickly, if you can, then I'll quickly explain this for you. But those who are not able to understand this quickly, don't worry. I'll try uploading another video, especially on this unit, which is there in your syllabus, Crossing the River. So, before we begin, let me just quickly tell you something about Ramayan. We all know what Ramayan is about, and we have watched it multiple times, and some people have even heard elders reciting Ramayan at their houses. Okay, so this particular drama, Crossing the River, here we have the protagonist, as in the main character, who is Sita. Yeah, not the one which you talk about in Ramayan, obviously, but there's a woman on the stage. She says, I am Sita. So she retells. See the question. The question says retelling Sita's story, retelling of Sita's story. So she's trying to retell her story, beginning with everything, beginning from like the time when she, lived with Ram. She was an ideal wife, and even then she was, banished. She was exiled, and before that she had to go through this Agni Pariksha, even though she didn't commit any wrong thing, right? Throughout the time when she was in Ravana's captivity, she only wanted to get back to our Lord Ram as quickly as possible. I mean, she kept on praying that my Lord will come to rescue me soon. But in spite of that, the harsh treatment, the cruelty on the part of Lord Ram towards Sita is what is being highlighted here in this drama. Now, please don't take it otherwise. I mean, obviously, Lord Ram is worshipped by Hindus, but this author, Ambai, she is a feminist writer. So, being feminist means that you write about women, you focus on the equality among the genders, and you make sure that your writings reflect this idea that women and men must be treated equally, and there should not be any gender inequality, because you know that we live in a patriarchal society where men are the ones who control everything, whether be it at political level, economic level, or social level. Like you say, when you say, who was the head of your family? So you generally answer, yeah, my grandfather or my father. You never say the head of my family is my grandmother. Yeah. So this is what she is trying to emphasize on. So let's read the answer, and I'll explain it to you side by side. Okay. So This play, Crossing the River, is a retelling of the age-old myth of the story of Sita, but from a different point of view. Not the point of view which we keep hearing, every time we watch the Ramayana TV, series or show. But this time, this woman on the stage is retelling the story. She is retelling her story from her point of view. So let's read further. So originally, this drama, Crossing the River, was written in Tamil under this name Atraik Kadatho in the year 2000, and it is quite an unconventional play, as in, in plays you see multiple characters acting on stage and delivering dialogues, and but this in this play there is only one character. Yeah, there's only one character, and that is Sita. Like it says, the entire play is one long, anguished monologue. So Sita is the only character who is speaking in this play, which is what it means, monologue, when only one person is speaking. But here it's a long, anguished monologue. So Sita is obviously angry. We can feel her fury, we can feel her anger by the way she speaks and what she says. So it takes us into her heart and soul for the first time because it gives her a voice. So what it means is, uh, women were not expected in those times to to refuse any order given by their husbands. Okay, women would always say yes. They would never question anybody. They would always do what was expected out of them, even if it meant, being exiled or banished into the forest. Even if it meant, like Sita had to go through the Agni Pariksha. So Sita is now given a voice because now in this play we are going to we are going to listen to Sita, and we'll get to know what she felt, what she feels, what her emotions and feelings are. So therefore, this play is an attempt by Ambai to revisit the epic Ramayan and turn it into a Sitayan. And how does she do that? She does that by presenting and interpreting those events, this time through the prism of Sita's consciousness, as in she will highlight her feelings and thoughts, what she had gone through. Okay, right. So the first point is feminist vision. Now, why are we writing like this? Because the question says, comment. So, in a way, you are analyzing this drama, this play, critically. So, what are your views about the way this drama has been written, this play has been written, and the way it has been enacted on stage? That's what you're going to write. Okay, it's like a critical analysis, very similar to that. So I've already told you about the feminist vision of the playwright who is C.S. Lakshmi, but she wrote under a pseudonym or a false name or a fake name, yeah, which is Ambai. Now, firstly, it subtly shows that there is no change in the expectation of males from women, whether they are from the epic age or from the contemporary period. Which means in the actual Ramayan, when Sita had to undergo the cruel treatment and she suffered, that situation is still relevant today because you still hear news about domestic violence, women being oppressed or subjugated, as in controlled by men, and various heinous crimes against women. So, what this line says is nothing has really changed. Women were subjected to oppression and subjugation in those times, as in the epic age, and even today, it's still the same. So, secondly, it depicts the many phases of female resistance that makes women's survival in this hostile world possible. Now, in this drama, Sita is obviously resisting. She is rebelling. Yeah, she tells us her thoughts and feelings, her emotions for the very first time. We haven't heard about this earlier. So, how does the play begin? Now, a little description of how the play begins. A saddening description of women in the mythological past, because when we know that Sita was an ideal woman, even as a daughter, as a mother, as a wife, but even then she was subjected to that Agni Pariksha, and then she was asked to leave that kingdom along with her kids. Yeah. So, and this still continues. And how do we know that? Because when we compare the plight of women in these times, in the contemporary period, nothing really has changed. This is what we feel. This is what my opinion is. Okay. So, in the patriarchal narrative, patriarchal, the word patriarchy refers to that society in which men are the head, men control, or men have this control over the society. So in this in the patriarchal narrative, Sita is the epitome of womanhood, which is what I said. She was an ideal woman as a daughter, as a wife, and as a mother. She never complained. Yeah, if you've watched Ramayan series on the internet or on the television, you would find that she is described the way she's represented. She never complains. She always says "Ji Swami." You know? She always agrees to her husband, and that's why she is compared. She's described as the shadow of Ram, and people are quite okay with this thing. They're like, "Yeah, that's fine." But Ambai's Sita. So in this drama, like when the play begins, we see a woman on the stage who says, I mean, she describes her, she reveals her name later on. Yeah, so we get to know that she is Sita. So Ambai's Sita is very different from Ramayan's Sita. So Ambai Sita is going to speak about her feelings, her emotions, and the way she had been victimized in a strident manner. And she recounts or recalls the events that hurt and humiliated her. So you know what event I'm talking about, right? So in a way, we can say that Ambai has given a woman-centric interpretation of events in this retelling of the age-old myth. So, the epic Ramayan is being retold by Ambai Sita, the woman on the stage, who is the protagonist and the only character in this drama. And her interpretation is obviously woman centric. So, apart from that, it also conveys the pain and suffering, like you would find in the drama when you read further. And even then, afterwards, you find that initially she describes a river which she is facing. She says, I am facing a river. And then, the river hides fury because, a river, the way it flows, it carries a lot of force. A river, even though a river may seem calm, but when the river come to destroy, when the river is, over brimming with water, it can actually, destroy things, right? So I'm really sorry about this page. So we were on this page here, and then Feminist Vision we've done. Okay, we're here. So it also conveys Sita's pain and suffering. So Ambai's retelling of Sita, obviously it conveys the pain Sita felt, the suffering she had to go through, yeah, she had to bear. And she never uttered a word. She never said anything. She never expressed herself, her desires, or what she felt, or something like this. And she just agreed to everything, right? But if she was silent, it doesn't mean that she deserved this treatment. Yeah, because after all, if we are living in a male-dominated society, patriarchal society, men should be sensitive enough to understand that women also deserve the same level of respect. They also should be given the freedom, the same level of freedom which we enjoy as males. They should be given opportunities the way we have opportunities, like we have financial freedom, and you would mostly find the males being the having this high position in society, in politics, and in the family as well, right? So she is emotionally wounded and angry. You'll get to know once you read a few lines from the actual drama. So, like I said, I'll be making a video, and then we'll be able to better understand what this means. Because when you get a question which asks you to critically analyze or comment on something or reflect on something, uh, you need, this is how you write the answer. You cannot just simply write a story that this happened and then and that happened and then that happened. So if you write a narrative, then it would not fit in the answer. So you need to analyze, critically analyze the thing. It can be the poem, it can be this drama which we are asked in this question, right? So, and then she clarifies that she is a victim of love, lust, and politics. Love, as in she was the wife of Lord Ram. Lust, as in Ravan, captivated her, put her in his captivity. And politics, obviously, when the war was won and they came back, someone in the kingdom said that she was staying at Ravan's kingdom for so long. So how do we make sure? I mean, how do we know whether she is pure or not? And Lord Ram, he overhears this conversation, and then he decides to make Sita go through this Agni Pariksha. Yeah, and even when she passes through the Agni Pariksha successfully, he still does this cruel treatment, and he banishes her, he exiles her into the forest. And above all, Sita never really got a chance to express her feelings and emotions. She was merely a pawn in the hands of the powers that decided her fate. Yeah. Now, this is probably the second most important thing in this drama. Now, by now, you must be wondering that, how is it possible that Sita is on the stage and she is retelling her story? Sita has gone. So it's been a long time. So you might be confused a bit. So let me tell you, the woman, the character on the stage, reveals her name later. She says, "I am Sita." And this is a metaphor. Yeah, she expresses, Sita's pain when she says, "I am Sita." So this is like a metaphor, and not only for Sita, even she also is a representative for all oppressed and subjugated women. So she's representing Sita of Ramayan, and she's also representing all oppressed and subjugated women. Yeah, like we keep hearing in the news about women being victims of rape and domestic violence and all that stuff. So she will here describe the sufferings you know, of other women as well. So Ambai Sita is also a symbol for the oppressed and subjugated women. Now let's understand the meaning of the words oppressed and subjugated. Now, subjugation means controlling somebody. So, if in our society, males are the head, so they are in a way trying to control the family. Whatever decision they make, that is to be followed by everybody in the family. Okay, and oppression means someone who is in authority or someone who is powerful, someone who is in charge, someone who has control. If that person is not treating you fairly and is rather treating you in an unjust manner or cruel manner, then that is called oppression. Okay? So Sita is representing all those women who have been victims of oppression and subjugation due to our patriarchal society. Okay, so she chooses to speak for all of them, and that's why she says this is the actual uh, part of the monologue which Sita says. She says, "I am a Sita with many faces." Because she has lived in all those faces who have been victims like her, living through many times and many spaces. Okay, and then this phrase is also important. It says made up in words, bound up in words, and imprisoned in words, as in she's representing every woman who has had to live her life according to the commands, the orders given by men in our society. And they cannot express themselves, they cannot go against the men. See, things have changed a bit. You must have heard about women empowerment, and now things are changing. But the change is very gradual, and the impact, the intensity of the change is so low that these things like oppression and subjugation of women are still happening in these times as well. So the first thing was the woman on the stage, who was the only character in this drama. She's representing Sita, like it's a metaphor, and she's also representing all those women who have been victims of oppression and subjugation. Like they've been under control, they've been victims of harsh treatment, cruel treatment, unjust treatment. Yeah, and now the third thing, she takes the identity of another victim like her, Jataka. Okay, so if you know all the characters in Ramayan, you would know Jataka, yeah, who was killed in her own forest by Ram. Now, see the word an authority called Ram, because in the Ram Rajya, he was the ultimate authority. Whatever he commanded, whatever he ordered, was followed, was implemented. So she's not only empathizing with Sita and all other women who have been victims just like her, just like Sita, she also represents or she has this empathy for anybody and everybody who was a victim at the hands of cruel treatment by Lord Ram. So this is what I have told you already, that this indicates that she becomes a representative figure of all those women who have been victimized and punished at the hands of powerful and egoistic patriarchs, and also even the other women, and then even all the characters in Ramayan who were killed by Ram. There's a character like a frog who was killed by a frog, yeah, in Ramayan was killed by Ram's arrow. So she also has empathy for that frog as well. Even all those horses who were sacrificed, yeah, even she has empathy for them. She's like representing everything and everybody who was a victim of oppression and subjugation. So for the first time, we hear Sita uh, doing a strong criticize of Lord Ram. So this fierce feminist in Ambai, because see the writer herself, she believes in feminism. She's a feminist writer. That's why the character she's chosen, the woman on the stage who says she's Sita and she represents all those women as well. That's why you hear this feminist tone. You hear these sentences from her mouth when the play is enacted on stage. Okay. So as against the popular valorization, as in valor is like bravery. So we have this opinion about Ram being a god, someone who's worshipped like a deity, yeah, and then someone who's very brave. So Ambai Sita is not focusing on what we think about Ram, what we have been thinking about Lord Ram. In other words, we get to read an alternative reading of the myth, this mythological tale or epic Ramayan. We get to know about an alternative reading, and that is why the question said, comment on Sita's retelling, Ambai's retelling of Sita's story crossing the river, because this version we haven't heard it before. This is the first time we are hearing this version. Yeah. So guys, if you've understood this already, you can skip the video or fast forward it and download the PDF. But I'll just quickly take a minute or two further to explain the remaining points. And I really thank you for your patience if you're still watching this video. Huh? So representative of animals and inanimate things. So, like I said, she represents women and even men who were victims of cruel treatment by Ram. And animals, like I said, a frog. I mentioned a frog who was killed by Lord Ram's arrow. Yeah, and even inanimate things. Yeah. So she lists all those beings, as in all those creatures, individuals, and even the inanimate things who face destruction at the hands of the powerful people. And yeah, here is a mention of the horse. Yeah, she is the horse who gets thrown into the ritual fire. I guess in Hindi you call this like Ashwamedh Yag, wherein you sacrifice horses. So this is what she's representing. Even horses as well, even the frog, like here, and even the girl child that swallowed poison as soon as it was born, and the bride who died in the fire. So these lines means that female, one people didn't really want to have a female child, so they were probably made to swallow poison, and then they were killed. And bride who died in the fire. I guess this is a reference to Sati Pratha, wherein women, they died as well. I mean, uh, when their husbands died, people made sure that the woman, the widow, died as well, right, in the fire. And then, what's the goal of this drama? What's the goal of this play? Ambai Sita is seeking to get liberation and emancipation. In the beginning of the play, Sita is shown with her head bent low. So you can when you see somebody whose head is bent low, you get to know that that person is not feeling well. So here Sita was obviously furious, with her due to her mistreatment. Yeah, but eventually, towards the end of the play, Sita is shown to be lifting her head. Now, this signifies that she is now confident, and she's made a resolution. She has decided to fight the odds, the challenges, and her desire for freedom. Now she desires to be free. So the river which she talks about in the very beginning of the drama, of the play. She says, I see a river in front of me. So that river is a metaphor for life. That river is a metaphor for all the challenges which she faced, or, now she says, I shall cross the river, as in she seeks to break the shackles and emancipate herself and, become free. So Sita, as in Ambai Sita, is not, down. She's still strong, even though we have been, oppressing women for ages. But Ambai Sita is, she is still strong. The river becomes symbolic of her path to a new world, uh, a means to a new form, a possibility to create a new Rajya, which would be Sita Rajya. So we keep talking about Ram Rajya, how everything was everything was perfect, and then the society was full of virtues and good things. But Ambai Sita is not impressed with those things. She's like, she wants to create, she might create a Sita Rajya, a world where there would be no inhibitions and no prescriptions. She hopes that she would create a world where nobody would be, told that, okay, you can't do this, you can't do that, particularly the treatment with women, that you need to sit like this, you need to walk like this, you need to stay within the family, within the house, you can't go outside the house, yeah, all these things. Restrictions which women have been imposed with. So, what kind of a world would this be? A world where women would find their dignity and they would have aspirations and fulfill their dreams. And then Sita says with confidence that she shall cross the river, and she repeats it to convince us, the audience, of her determination. And she's confident of building and seeing a new Rajya, which would be Sita Rajya instead of Ram Rajya. And that's why her face becomes bright at the end of her speech. Like I said, it's a monologue. She's the only character on the stage who's speaking, and she's describing her inner feelings to the audience. So, if we conclude, we can say this hegemonic stronghold has not yet disappeared, even after many centuries. Means the this tendency of the males to control others, particularly women, and the way males have been mistreating women, whether it be women in our own family, as in one's wife, or other women in the family, or even outside. Because I have come across a lot of such incidents wherein even in the workplace, when you work in a company, and I've seen many male colleagues having disregard for their female colleagues, especially if they get promotion. So they're like, they can't bear the fact that, oh, she is a female. How did she manage to get promoted? How come? I mean, why did not I get the promotion? So they get jealous and envious when they see a female leading a company, or getting promoted, or having equal rights as we have. And trust me, this situation is still prevalent in many parts of India. I'm not sure if it is true in other parts of the world, but in India specifically, be it in urban areas or rural areas, this is still persistent. Women are not still not given equal rights as men, and that's why the feminist people, the feminist writers they write this literature like this, the one written by Ambai, uh, so that gender inequality, we get rid of this thing, gender inequality or gender discrimination, and men and women, they're given equal rights, all genders, including even the third gender. Okay, so I think that's pretty much it. So I'll finish the video here. Once again, if you haven't understood anything, please rewind the video, because I know that it's the first time you heard about this drama. You watched, this drama Crossing the River. But I'll try making a separate video on this unit so that you can understand this better. So if you like this video, please like the video, yeah, subscribe to the channel, and leave your comments in the comments section, and we would love to hear your comments. Okay, thank you for watching.